Hello YouTube, it's another beautiful day in sunny Griffin, Georgia, which is where I am. But today I will be giving you a book recommendation, and it's called The Essential Plotinus by Elmer O'Brien. The translation is by Elmer O'Brien, and it generally elucidates Plotinus in his own words, his philosophy of life, and it's a fascinating philosophy, right? Because it's both dualistic in the sense that Plotinus speaks of the contradiction and struggle between man, who is in between spirit, which is the highest principle, and matter, which is his body and like all of the lower, qualities of man, I guess you could say, right? Like we all know what we're talking about, right? Like lust and violence and aggression and sloth and gluttony and all that good stuff. So there's that dualistic side. But what Plotinus essentially says is that this contradiction in reality, this splitting of reality, is actually not a splitting. It's in essence, it's all the one. Everything is an emanation of the one. And So let me read you a little bit about what Plotinus says about the one, which is his highest principle, right? Or it's not even a principle. It's just a word that encompasses a reality that cannot be encompassed by words. So it's just like a terrible, it's a paradox. So here's what Plotinus says: the one is not an intellective existence. If it were, it would constitute a duality. It is motionless because it is prior to motion, quite as it is prior to thinking. Anyhow, what would it think? Would it think itself? If it did, it would be in a state of ignorance before thinking, and the self-sufficient would be in need of thought. But the one, in its aloneness, can neither know nor be ignorant of anything. Being with itself, it does not need to know itself. Still, we should not even attribute to it this present with itself if we are to preserve its unity. So essentially, this one is indivisible, right? And the act of knowing oneself is in itself a splitting, a dualistic process, right? When you're like, oh, I am this being, there is the being that you're aware of, and then there's the awareness that is aware of that being, right? So it's a dualistic process. So what the one is this, it's this pure self-transcendent principle, or entity. These are all, terms to describe the indescribable. But yeah, I would just definitely recommend you guys get into Plotinus and read this book. And what Plotinus essentially says is, like, if you look at the implications of his philosophy, he basically says the universe is illusory, that matter is a reflection of the one, right? And we all know that reflections are not real, right? Reflections reflect something that is real, but the reflection itself is not real. So yeah, it's a really fascinating philosophy, and I'd recommend that you get into it because it really is about truth, beauty, and goodness. And Plotinus talks about the fruits of this spiritual endeavor, right? Like, he essentially says that through contemplation of the one, the soul becomes beautiful and pure and good and all holy, and all of those things that humans aspire to be, noble and blissful too, right? Pure happiness is related to the one. So yeah, I would just I said I'd keep my videos under 5 minutes, so I'm getting close. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a basic taste of Plotinus, and I hope you get into it. Thanks.